Oh, it's all kicking off, everybody. We're only at Christmas, and I've already been invited into the boardroom for the talk. Hello and welcome to part 5 of my Football Manager 17 beta save with Liverpool. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have a game in the Premier League away against Tottenham and then an FA Cup game against Forest, because it would be nice for you to watch us win a game if we make it that far. Since you were last with me, I've played quite a chunk of games actually. Mixed-ish form. I think it was after the Swansea game. I was invited into the boardroom. Well, they gave me the option of not coming. It would have involved resigning, but I was given the option of not attending, I guess, and told I had to win my next game or else I was out the door. Luckily, since then, we've gone on a little bit of an unbeaten run, 3 wins, 2 draws, and we've started moving up the league a bit. League position, as it stands at the moment, we are 9th, so still a long way away from the Europa League qualification spot that we would be hoping for. At one point in this little run, we were as high as 6th, and we're actually quite close together with sort of 7th down to 13th. There's not a lot of points between any of us at the moment, and we do have a game in hand, although that game in hand is against Tottenham, who could go top if they beat us, and it's at their place. So let's not get too excited and carried away about the prospect of winning that. But we're not completely out of touch with what's going on. The big issue is the team in 6th place. We're looking to catch a Man City, who I hear they've got money to throw around and they're not too bad. The one we've really got our eye on is Stoke. Watford were top of the league for a little while, and they've now just sort of they're just fallen apart. There you go. Watford are nosediving. Stoke, on the other hand, are they've been around and about where we've been all season. They're just sort of having a nice little run at the moment that's pushed them a little bit higher up the league, but I'm hopeful they'll have a Watford style crumble, and if we can be the team that makes it into the top 6 at their expense, that should be enough to get us into the Europa League, should be enough to appease the board, and then we'll try and improve things for next season. In other news, though, the transfer window is now open, and I expect transfer business. We've got a couple of players who we've had offers for. Lucas Leiva has had offers from Huanjian in China and Shakhtar. Not for a lot of money. I guess he is probably worth more than these fees, but he's got an absolute grump on. He keeps getting injured, and because of that he's never match fit, and because of that he's not making it into the team. But we had a whole to-do about it with him saying he wanted first team football, me saying no, all the other Brazilians at the club, i.e. most of our star players, then got in a grump as well defending him. Managed to calm everyone else down, but I think it's best for all concerned if we just get Lucas Leiva out of the club ASAP. Mignolet, I know a couple of you in the comments have been saying play Mignolet, but we spent all that money on Fraser Forster in the summer. He's going to be our first choice, at least for this season. So Mignolet, if we can bring in any kind of money for him, I'll be happy. And £16 million, I'll be very happy. And we have also made an offer for a Brazilian midfielder from Shakhtar. That's where Lucas Leiva is probably going to be going, but I think this is a bit of an upgrade. If we can bring in Fred, 23 years old, 4 caps for Brazil so far, can play central midfield, attacking midfield. We'll probably play him central midfield. He's better than any other central midfielder we've got, although, at least as good as Jordan Henderson, if not better than everybody else. So I think that's a definite upgrade if we manage to bring him in. And if all goes to plan, if these transfers go through, all of those ones, there's still money in the kitty. We've got enough to buy Fred outright without any sales. Plus we get 90% of any money from sales. So the upfront money for these two, what's that, 8.5, 6.5, so like £15 million. We can bring in another player as well, probably. So we're moving some stuff around. Hopefully we'll see some transfer business over the course of January that will just help me start to form my Liverpool team a little bit more. But in the meantime, it's right at the start of the transfer window, so we have to continue making do with what we've got. And what we've got is a team that looks rather familiar, because it's the team and the tactic we were playing right at the start of the season. I just decided, you know what, at the start of the season, although we had that one iffy game away against Chelsea, I think it was, other than that, we looked quite good at the start of the season. So when the board brought me in for the chat, we went back to this system and it's given us a 5-game unbeaten run. So we are slowly starting to recapture some form. Probably should have had faith with this system all along and just written the Chelsea game off as an early blip. But, you know, you live and learn and all that. So this is the team that we're playing today away against Tottenham. There's a very real risk that we'll do the same thing we did away against Chelsea, because we're playing away from home against one of the best teams in the division who are in great form, and we're going to go there and attack and be fluid and be expressive and roam from positions. So unless everyone plays exceptionally, we will get absolutely thumped, but at least we'll go down swinging, and we just weren't doing that before. So we're gonna stick with this until we either turn things around or I get fired. It'll probably be one of the two. Claudio Ranieri's already been sacked from Leicester. So, you know, I've survived longer than the guy who won the league last year. So I'm calling that an achievement, even if we don't make it to the end of January. So the team that we're playing today, away against Tottenham, we've got Fraser Forster in goal, a back four of Moreno, Romagnoli, Matip and Klein, with Wijnaldum and Emre Can in midfield. We're resting De Chilio and Henderson and Coutinho, actually, today, because fixtures thick and fast over the Christmas period. Origi's going to be up front. He is our regular starting striker now and has 12 goals in 15 starts compared to 3 goals from 5. I mean, Sturridge doesn't look bad either, does it? But I'm still not feeling it with Daniel Sturridge. I'd still like to bring in a proper striker. If we can get Fred. There you go. For years, I couldn't pronounce my THs. I've been teaching myself to do it over the last year, and now I say it instead of Fs. Can't win. But if we can bring Fred in, hopefully we'll have money to bring in a proper striker as well. And I think the squad will look quite good at that point. But for now, Origi's up front, and behind him we've got Mane, Lallana and Luan. At the moment, Firmino's injured, Lovren's injured, and as I mentioned, we're resting some players as well. So it's not the ideal time to go away from home against a team that could go top of the league. But there's never an ideal time to do all that, and I guess if we look at it completely objectively... What was I saying? Objectively. I used a long word and it threw me off track. If we look at things completely objectively, we'd be better off resting players in a game we're probably going to lose anyway, so that they're fit for a game that we've got a chance of winning. There's logic to it. It might not be the logic you'd use, but it's logical the same. Right, we're in good form and we're going to beat them. That's what we want to say. Yes, my players are rubbish. What? Best? It's not the... Who cares what the weather's like? Yeah. I mean, that was a new question, and it was a stupid one as well. So that's the Tottenham team. No Harry Kane, no Dele Alli. Interesting. No Eric Dyer. They seem to be doing a bit of rotation as well. So perhaps it is a good day to be going and playing Tottenham. Let's get into the game. And like I say, try not to thump the microphone, Kev. Goodness me. Like I say, we're going out, attack. We're doing it Kev style. We'll either win spectacularly or lose spectacularly. And usually, when I say that, it's a 0-0 draw. And that would be an excellent result as well. So any outcome, really, who knows? It's basically a lottery. It's always the problem for me, especially when I arrive at a new club. For the first, season or two, until I start bringing in players who are going to play the way I want them to play and reshaping the squad in my own image, consistency just isn't a thing that we do. If I manage to survive this season and bring in some decent players over the summer, consistency might be a thing we manage next year. It really depends on how much money the board support me with and who we're able to bring in and who we're able to keep hold of, I guess, because I don't know, the likes of Coutinho, Firmino, Henderson, even Emre Can, are they going to stick around if we don't make it into the Champions League again? I probably wouldn't. We're 1-0 down, by the way. In case you were just focused on me and not watching the match, you'll have missed that Tottenham have just scored a cracking goal and Fraser Forster was well beaten. So Son tucks it into Dembele and Dembele just takes a couple of touches and he's just going to stick it in the top corner. There it goes. Look, no defending against that. Well, we probably could have tried tackling him before he had the shot, but if we rule that out as an option, then there was no defending it because it was unsavable. Mane's in, though, and hits the post, and I don't know what Lloris was doing there, but it looked like he kind of cleared it across the face of his goal after it bounced back off the post. That was some weird goalkeeping or weird defending. I don't really know where the weirdness came from, but it was weird. I mean, looking at the stats, I know we're 1-0 down, but all the other stats are fairly reassuring in our favour. We're having just as many shots as they are. Yes, only one of them's been on target, but we've had the same amount of clear-cut chances. We've had more possession. It's similar to the start of the season. This is why we should have persisted with this system, because even if we lose today, we're playing well, and on another day with a proper striker, we could be level. So that we have to take those kind of positives out of the game and not throw the baby out with the bathwater and do so. I mean, see, Klein's going to get sent off here. That isn't a reflection on how good this tactic was. Don't bin it off, Kev. Future Kev, listen to me. Don't bin this tactic off. It's proven again against one of the best teams in the league that it works. Yes, we're going to lose today now, but it doesn't mean the tactic doesn't work. Oh, you're so reactionary. Right, we'll stick Emre Can back at right back. Lallana drops back deep. We can cope with a sending off with the flexibility we've got in this group of players. We can cope with sending off without having to make substitutions. Whether or not we can get back into the game is another matter entirely, and I would suggest it's probably fairly unlikely. 20 minutes to go, down to 10 men, and Spurs are kind of controlling the game at this point. We're going to take Origi off, bring Sturridge on. We're going to take Luan off and bring Coutinho on. And we're going to hope that those two changes will combine into something wonderful, and we'll nab a goal from somewhere. I'm going to switch Sturridge to a poacher. That's what we have done when he's been scoring goals. I don't like having a poacher up front on their own. I always worry that they have the risk of being isolated up there. But what have I ever known about tactics? So, I'm going to ignore my thoughts on it and just play him in his strongest position. Oh, and he so should have scored there. We're being mugged officially now. I know we're down to 10 men, but we've had two clear-cut chances. They've only had one. This is an official mugging. Right, we'll bring Henderson on for Mane. Move Lallana back up there. Or do we move Wijnaldum up there? Who's better off on the right wing? Can either of them do inside forward? That's what we'd quite like to have. Let's do Wijnaldum as an inside forward and have Lallana as the deep line playmaker, Henderson box to box. And I mean, it's a good performance, and it's so frustrating because we have controlled possession. We've had more clear-cut chances than them. It's a worry that despite creating the clear-cut chances and having all the shots we've only had 2 shots on target, and that says it all about why we're in the pickle that we're in, because we've got great players in every position other than the one that scores the goals, and that's what we need to solve. And it's not looking like being solved anytime soon, because even now I've got money to spend, so I'm bringing in a midfielder because I'm Kev. That's why I'm doing it, because I can't find a striker who meets the criteria of being better than what we've got and willing to come to Liverpool, who aren't in Europe this year and aren't looking like being in Europe next year. If you know who this mystery striker is, who's better than what we've got, but is still a realistic striker, a realistic signing for us as a club, I'd love to know about him. I thought that man was Luan, but barely played him up front because he's been needed elsewhere with rotation and injuries and whatnot. And I don't know, he's not the same Luan we had at Milan in FM16. We're 3-0. We don't deserve to be 3-0 down. We've had more clear-cut chances than they have. On paper, we've been thumped today, and that is not the story of what's happened in this game. It is, however, the story of what's happened this season. Fraser Forster was just trash there. That ball was down the centre of the goal, and he's just fallen over the top of it. He should have done better. And I mean, that could be that is the story of the season. Could have done better. Should have done better. And it all counts for nothing. We're now languishing in 9th place, level on games now, and 8 points behind Man City in 6th. And we're not catching them. We're 9 points behind Stoke. That's who we're chasing. 9 points to make up with less than a season to go is a tall order in anyone's book. And Sturridge has just had another shot from range that's nowhere near. And I guess this is the problem with being expressive. But don't change the tactic, Kev. We can see from the stats that it works, other than the whole shots on target thing. Let's not get bogged down in those details. If we create enough chances, surely, sooner or later, we'll start scoring some of them. And then we just need to tighten up at the back somehow, which I don't know how to do. Because the only logical way is to drop a midfielder back or be a bit more defensive, and all that stuff leads to the terrible form we were in when we were doing that. This game is hard. I don't know if it's because FM17 is hard. I don't know if it's because managing Liverpool is hard. I need to keep an eye on some of these other YouTube saves of people managing Liverpool. Luckily, there's plenty out there that I can compare myself with. I might need to have a couple of days off and let them get ahead of me so I can see what they're doing. Because for me at the moment, I'm further into it than they are, and I can't work out what I'm doing wrong. But luckily, silver lining and all that, like I said, we're going to play Forest now, hopefully you'll get to see us do a win. We'd love to do a win. Oh, frustration doesn't even come close. We've sold Mignolet. We had an offer accepted for Saido Berahino, £17 million. He wanted £165,000 a week, non-negotiable. The board wouldn't let me negotiate that high. I had no option but to walk away. There was just nothing else that was possible to be done. Neither side were willing to negotiate. Man City have also had a £17 million offer accepted, so he's going to go and sit on their bench for the next year before they sell him to probably back to West Brom. Oh, frustration. Fred still hasn't come in. Lucas Leiva still hasn't gone. So nothing's really happened since then, apart from the fact we've lost our backup goalkeeper. So our other backup goalkeeper is going to be in goal today because it's the FA Cup. Why not have a little look at some of the other players around the squad? And we don't have much in the more attacking quadrants of the pitch where we can rotate. But further back, there's definitely the opportunity to look at some other players. So we've got Karius in goal. Little Gomez and Clavan come in at centre-back. Deschilio comes back in at right-back. Obviously, Klein's suspended anyway. Other than that, it's pretty close to being our first choice team, especially in light of the injuries we've got. Firmino's still not fit, so Lallana, Coutinho and Mane would have played anyway. Luan drops down to the bench and Origi continues up front. I suppose we could have had a look at Danny Ings, but we've done that a couple of times now and he still looks the same. He's not changing from game to game, so Danny Ings, if anyone wants to buy Danny Ings, let me know in the comments. He's basically free to a good home. We need to free up some wage budget, because if we had some spare wage budget, if we had some spare wage budget, do you know? That's what it says on here. If we had some of that, we might have had the opportunity to offer a bit more money to Berahino, but we didn't, so we couldn't. So there's no other strikers out there. I didn't think there was any before he popped up on a scout report. And now we can't. I thought he was a bargain as well. I thought it was too good to be true. 17 million. We could have bought him and Fred and had some money left over. But oh no. Apparently he wants wages as well. Who'd have thought Saido Berahino is a troublemaker and is awkward about contracts? There's no previous for it. I just don't understand. Right, Forest are going to beat us now, aren't they? I didn't actually look to see how they're doing in the league. They're probably riding high at the top of the Championship and haven't lost all season or something ridiculous like that. They've seen us rotate the side. Oh, giving a debut to a goalkeeper, are you? Little Gomez is playing. Goodness me. Times must be hard at Liverpool. Let's go and beat you. Right, Coutinho, Tralberto, Emre Can, Henderson, Lallana, Origi's in this. I mean, that was beautiful. That was a thing of beauty, that goal. I would like to watch it again in 3 dimensions. Watch along with me. Come on. Let's all look at this. Emre Can out to Henderson. Look at this. It's 2 touches there, and 2 touches there as well. It's 2-touch football all the way. We didn't even see Moreno's contribution. And look at Lallana and Coutinho clap. They're loving it. Having a right old clapathon out there. Right, we're 1-0 up. We haven't been ahead in a game for a little while now. It's a nice feeling. It's a shame it's only Forest. I almost apologise to Forest fans out there, but there's just no need. You get it. You're only Forest. Hands up if you're unsubscribing because I said only Forest. I suppose Derby fans will subscribe in their droves. If you are a Forest fan, make sure you let a Derby fan know on your way out that I had a dig at you. It's only because my other half's family are from Nottingham and they're Forest fans. Have to have a dig at them occasionally. Posh have beaten Forest plenty of times. We're basically European champions by default for having beaten Forest recent-ish. They've had a player sent off as well. Splendid. We don't even get to see the free kick though. That's how uneventful our attacking players at the moment. We get a free kick in a dangerous position. Don't even get to look at it. We have given away a penalty. Fingers crossed penalties are still broken in FM17. Like we saw they were earlier in the season. Should just go straight down the middle for Karius to save. Oh, it's Britta Sombalonga. Good. It was straight down the middle for Karius to save. At least penalties are still broken. I do love Britta Sombalonga though. Former Posh hero. Record sale. There you go. Posh facts on a Liverpool save. Who'd have thought? Answer, everybody who's ever watched any of my other videos. That's who thought there'd be posh facts thrown in on this. And we were never going to let Britta Sombalonga be involved in the game and not talk about him. Right, we're still in the lead, but we are officially mugging Forest. If we go by Kev's rules, it's 2-0 to Forest. But through the magic of broken penalties and just general incompetence, on the part of both teams, really. We've not created any chances. They've not converted the ones they have created. We're just doing the big team beat them anyway deal at the moment, and hopefully that will just continue throughout the game. We're bringing on Luan for Coutinho, and Coutinho's not had a great game. He's not been in very good form for a little while, actually, and I think we're going to bring Wijnaldum on as well, probably for Lallana, because I quite like Wijnaldum in behind Origi, and Lallana doesn't seem to really do anything when he's there. I think he might be developing more into a deeper midfield player. Emre Can's going to get himself sent off now. I don't even know what for. What did he do? Was that a handball? What did he do? For goodness sake, we could have dropped Lallana back there, and I'd be much more comfortable with Lallana in the middle of the park than Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum is pretty much Mr. Attacking. But no, not allowed that. Oh, planning something, are you, Kev? Let's put paid to that. Right, can't take Henderson off because there's no one to bring on for him. Mane. No, should we have a look at Danny Ings? We'll have a look at Danny Ings. We threatened it earlier in the episode. Let's have a look at him now. Origi, you can become... just stay as a winger. Who cares? Danny Ings going to get his 10 minutes. I mean, Forrest might be about his level. I think he scored for us in the EFL Cup earlier in the season, so perhaps he's our cup striker. I can't believe I'm going to be satisfied having mugged a championship team, but they really have made us look like the lower league side, and obviously it's the other way around, but we have picked up a win, and hopefully it'll be enough just to spark something, because we've got to play Man City in the next game. Hopefully with a new player or two, so we've got a week. Transfer window's a go-go. I'd like to bring in some signings, and that's hopefully what you'll see in our next episode. Some signings coming in and some upturn in form. If I make it to the end of this season, I'll be quite surprised. And if you've enjoyed that, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.